Part 6. Voice box. In this particular mediumship, ectoplasm is molded to form an artificial voice box, and through it emanates the voice of a spirit. The sound is similar to, or exactly like, the voice of a person while he or she was alive on the earth. I attended 4 seances where this phenomenon was present. I was fortunate to sit with the famous English physical medium Leslie Flint. In his day, Leslie had many celebrities in his seance room. Among the James Van Praagh 52 most frequent was Mae West, who would herself hold seances on a regular basis. At my 3rd sitting with Leslie, my mother came through, and she sounded identical to the way she did on earth. She called me by my nickname, which no one else knew except the 2 of us. The experience was, to say the least, inspiring and unforgettable. Unfortunately, this type of mediumship is rare, and I know only one other medium in the world still alive who can create such a phenomenon. Materialization. This is the rarest form of physical mediumship, and the most amazing. Those in spirit can form anything from partial limbs, faces, heads, and torsos, to complete bodies that are exact replicas of the deceased as they appeared on earth. The denseness of the materialization depends strongly on the medium's own developed state. There were many famous materialization mediums earlier in this century. Among them were Jack Weber, Ethel Post Parrish, and Helen Duncan. Apports. An apport is a phenomenon in which various objects such as jewelry, flowers, coins, and the like materialize in a seance room. One of the beliefs behind an apport is that an object dematerializes in talking to heaven 53 one place and materializes in another. Another belief is that an object is formed directly by the spirit world. Spiritual healing. Another form of physical mediumship is spiritual healing. A medium's body is imbued with healing energy from the spirit world. After much practice, a medium can cure many incurable diseases and maladies. This is different from magnetic healing, whereby the actual vital forces of a medium are used for healing work. Spirit photography. This type of mediumship is more common. Phantom-like figures or exact replications of deceased people appear on photographs. One may also see whitish spots, lights, or flashes on the photographs. I am a mental medium, utilizing the gifts of clairsentience and clairvoyance. I usually tell the sitter that I am merely a telephone to the spirit world. Just as we all receive thoughts on a daily basis, I am aware of and sensitive to thought frequencies that the spirit people create and send to my consciousness. In order to attune to the thoughts and feelings of a spirit, I have to raise my vibrations Van Praagh 54 tones higher, and, in turn, a spirit has to lower its vibrations somewhat. Sometimes, this can be very difficult. Usually I don't hear incomplete sentences as I can in normal conversation with human beings. When a spirit says, "Hello, how are you today?" I may hear, "Lo, are you day?" When I sit with a client, it is important that the energy of the room be harmonious to both the sitter and myself. I prefer to perform my sittings in my home, where the conditions are balanced, peaceful, quiet, and pleasant. When a sitter enters the room, I can tell immediately if he or she is nervous, angry, apprehensive, scared, meditative, open, or closed. In other words, I can feel the energy surrounding the sitter. If need be, I have the person relax by doing a brief meditation. After the meditation, and when the person feels more at ease, I explain how I work and what to expect. Clients are allowed to tape record their sessions with me. Spirit communication. When I feel the subtle energies around me shift, I relax and open my mind to the thoughts of those attempting to communicate. I repeat to the sitter exactly what I receive without thinking or trying to interpret the words. Even though the thought "talking to heaven 55" may not make sense to me, more than likely it will be understood by the sitter. Even though I try not to analyze what I am hearing, sometimes I do. However, I have to constantly remind myself that what may sound insignificant to me may be of utmost importance to the sitter. Also, as a clairsentient, I can feel the death condition associated with the individual making contact. When the spirit returns to the earth atmosphere, it picks up the memory associated with its last time on the physical plane. For almost all, it is the death condition that is the most vivid. As an example, if a person passed over from a heart attack, I may experience a spiritual presence through a gripping pain across my chest. If someone died of cancer or AIDS, I may feel a sense of wasting away in my body. If a death occurred suddenly, like a murder, there may be a jolt through my body. If a death was by suicide, my feeling will be based on the method of self-destruction. In other words, if someone took pills, I may feel a heaviness in my stomach and a sudden sense of drowsiness. If a person shot himself, I may feel a sharp pain in the area where the bullet entered. My primary impressions manifest on an emotional level. Therefore, if a spirit is upset and crying, I may suddenly feel depressed and begin to cry. If a spirit laughs and jokes, I will also begin to laugh. James Van Praagh 56. The personality of a spirit almost always accompanies the emotional thought being sent. For instance, if a spirit had an authoritative personality on earth, the tone of my voice may become commanding. If a personality had a sharp tongue, I may speak with the straight. If the individual was very unemotional and closed off to feelings and not very demonstrative, it may take much more effort on my part as the medium to describe something emotionally. Usually, spirits will transmit messages that the sitter easily understands. At the beginning of communication, a spirit will give his or her name, or where he or she lived, or some insignificant fact that provides evidential proof to the sitter that the loved one is present. Many times, spirits will furnish trivial information known only to the sitter. By way of an example, a sitter's grandmother might say that she likes the flowered blanket covering his couch. Or she might talk about the boxes of books that the sitter recently unpacked and placed upon the second shelf of his bookcase. Many people ask me why spirits come through with such trivial data when there is a whole new realm of existence of which they can speak. The answer is very simple. It is the simple revelation that verifies a spirit exists and is indeed communicating with the sitter. Talking to Heaven 57. Also, if a spirit was interested in a particular hobby or activity while on earth, it will more than likely reveal this interest during the reading. For instance, I had a client whose deceased husband told her that she must make sure to fill the yellow bird feeder that hung on their backyard tree. She said, "My God, that's him. He would go out every morning and put seeds in that feeder. I can't believe it. He's right. I forgot to put the seeds in this week, it's been so crazy." To anyone else, this thought might seem quite trivial, but to the sitter it was corroboration that she was indeed speaking to her husband. Names are one thing, but minor details only help to demonstrate that the communication between a spirit and the sitter is authentic. It provides the necessary proof that the spirit is who he says he is. One must realize that when someone passes to the other side of life, it does not mean that he or she has learned all the secrets of the universe. At death, only the physical body is shed, much like discarding an old overcoat. In fact, the personality remains the same, complete with likes, dislikes, prejudices, talents, and attitudes. In time, a spirit might progress to a higher spiritual level and perhaps enlighten itself, but this, too, is strictly up to the individual. Also, we must understand that a James Van Praagh 58 spirit's knowledge of things in general is slightly above our physical comprehension. Spirits cannot interfere with karmic progression. Many clients come to me seeking information from spirits regarding wealth, love, or career. Usually, I tell them that they might be disappointed. The spirit people may or may not be able to provide such information. It all depends on whether the spirit knows the answer, and also whether the spirit is allowed to reveal it. When a soul comes on this earth to learn certain lessons or to spiritually progress, the last thing he or she needs is for a spirit being to give the answers to a situation that may be a test. We must be aware that there are spiritual laws, and a spirit being cannot interfere or try to influence the spiritual or karmic progression of another. So, certain types of information may be veiled or hidden from the sitter. The spirit people love us too much to hinder our growth. By spiritual lessons, let me explain further through the following. A woman named Marcy came to see me, and her first question was whether or not she was going to have a baby. Her grandfather came through, and he said to her, talking to Heaven 59, "You will first change residence and move to a place high above the water, and then have a baby boy." Not before, she replied, but I'm in my 40s. What am I going to do? He said, it will occur in God's time, not yours. Masi was given further information about her move and her family. She was told it would all happen when the time was right. A year and a half later, Masi paid me another visit. She informed me that she had recently moved to a house above the Pacific Ocean and was 3 months pregnant. Another case involved a girl named Nancy, who had recently filed for divorce. Nancy's mother came through and told her that she would leave her current husband but would marry again, this time to someone who would be much more compatible. Nancy asked, where will I meet this man and what does he look like? Her mother replied, it is not right for me to tell you that, but know that it is true. The mother wasn't able to tell her daughter the answers to these vital questions because the girl had to go through the process of living and make some challenging decisions for herself. Perhaps these decisions would help her grow in her own personal strength and power. Successful communication takes place if there is James Van Praagh 60 a strong desire by both the sitter and the spirit. We can all communicate to our dearly departed. All we need is to have an open mind and a mutual understanding of love and energy. When we do, wondrous discoveries are within reach. In chapters 10 and 11, I explain how we can prepare ourselves to be receptive to mediumship and give various exercises and methods to attune.
Soulmate, this is a part of Zindagi Ki Roshni Consultancy. It has been established for those who have lost someone and for those who are very sad in their life. About 100 PDF books and 20 short audio books of this topic will be sent to those who join it. This data will be sent to their email or WhatsApp. If you want to join this organization, then please send WhatsApp message to this number.